Hello, it's Miss Miskinis here. I know my last name, it can be a little bit difficult to say, so a lot of the students call me Miss M, so you can call me that as well. I teach 8th grade math and geometry honors here at Schofield Middle School. Both of those classes consist of 8th grade students, and I am in room 305 on the old 8th grade hall, which is now the math and science hall in the building. All right, a little bit about me. I live in Graniteville, South Carolina, and I have my husband at home, Jeremy. He's a stay-at-home dad right now with our 4 children and our 2 cats that we currently got over the summer. I have 3 boys and 1 girl, and my 2 cats. My girl loves Frozen, so we've got 2 cats that are named Olaf and Sven. We enjoy watching TV, movies, TV shows, all that kind of stuff. We also like to play board games and card games. And then, of course, my children also love to play video games as well. Along with my husband, I play just a little bit of video games. I do read books occasionally as well. And we all love to listen to music. And of course, my kids love to dance along to the sing-along songs as well. I graduated from Augusta University in 2017. I received my Bachelor's of Science in middle grades mathematics and middle grade science. And I just waited a couple years to start teaching because I continued my family. So I was at home for a little bit, and I decided last year in 2020 to come back to the classroom during pandemic. And I found out at the beginning of the year I was expecting a baby and had a baby last year as well. But with all that, I still became first year teacher of the year here at Schofield Middle School. So hopefully you have confidence in me that I will take care of your child in my classroom. I'm also a member of the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, and there's also a South Carolina version of that. I'm a member of that as well. All right, so I have 5 learning goals for this year for my students. Number one is just that they grow. All of my students, of course, are in different places with math. Some really don't like math, some are kind of in the middle, and some love math. So I just want to make sure at all of those levels that each of my students, at least, goes from wherever they were to somewhere, above that by the end of the year, that they grow and they learn, and hopefully that those that don't like math at the beginning of the year, at least they somewhat grow to appreciate it a little bit more, if not love it. But hopefully that's my goal. I want them to love math. I love math, so I get really excited, and I'm a big nerd about it. So that's what I relay to my students, and I hope that by the end of the year they do love math as well. But that's okay if they're not, so I just try to push them in the right direction and make sure that they grow some type of way with math. Secondly, literacy. So that's a big thing here at Schofield Middle School this year. Our literacy framework that we're working on. And in mathematics, that's just making sure that students, of course, with word problems, that they can read those and understand them and solve them. And also just the vocabulary with math. I know the definitions for math terms are different from maybe, normal stuff that you would see day to day. So making sure they understand that as well. And, of course, with that as well, we'll also talk about things, discuss different things. I'm actually starting this week in my class that I'll continue on this year, just what we call error analysis, being able to look at a problem and know what the mistake is and go ahead and fix it and solve it and discuss it, because that's a part of literacy as well, being able to talk through those things. So that's one of my goals as well. Number fluency also, just being able to know numbers forwards and backwards, and be able to plug them into equations and multiply. So, um, that's a big thing. Just knowing those facts and having that fluency, so it's easier to do those more complex math problems. So that way we can prepare students before they go to algebra next year in high school. All right, next I have problem solving. So that kind of goes in with the error analysis there, being able to figure something out. So we're not given all the steps for something, but being able to say, okay, I can create those steps myself. I know um, I can build that and be able to solve that problem and come to my solution there. And then lastly, perseverance. So a lot of students, they see math problems or anything related with math and they just want to shut down. Um, but it's my goal that they have perseverance, that they say, okay, I'm going to make it through this problem. I can solve it. I can get through it. So perseverance is a big thing in math, just being able to sit there and work out those problems. So those are my 5 learning goals for this year. All right, so my top 3 classroom expectations. All right, so if you ask your child, what does Miss Miskinis say in her classroom almost anytime somebody asks about an assignment? So students will, raise their hand and ask me, Miss Miskinis, do I really have to show my work for this problem? And I ask just the whole class, I'm like, okay, class, what do we know that we always do in math class? And they'll come back to me and say, show your work. All right, so that's a big thing. I have to know their process and know what they're doing. It's just not coming up to the right answer, but knowing how they got there. So they always need to show their work. All right, my second expectation is that students will participate. All right, I always tell them, class is going to be so boring if you just sit there and stare at me when I ask questions. So it's a big thing that they participate, that they try, that, they give an answer, and I tell them it's okay. If you say the wrong answer, then I can, walk you through it and get you to the right answer there, because that's a part of learning, right? We make mistakes and then we fix them, and that's how we learn. And then my third expectation is that students will be prepared when they walk into my classroom. All right, so my top 2 things in math class, pencil and paper. All right, so I always say that number 1 there is that you have your pencil. So, a lot of times I provide, worksheets and whatnot for them to have, but they do need to have that paper as well, so that way they can work out problems, just in case there's not enough space on the worksheet or whatnot. But those are the top 2 things in math class that they should have. All right, so those are my 3 classroom expectations. All right, so what can you do as a parent to support your child in my classroom? So just encourage them to complete and turn in their work. So that's number 1. I use that. So if they're not turning in their work, I don't know exactly, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and that really drives my instruction. I use that, what we call data, um, to know, okay, do I need to go back and reteach this so that way most of my students get it, and then I can move on, or does everybody get it right now and I can go ahead and move on from there. So it's important that they do that. So just encourage them to turn in their work. Just check, hey, did you finish that assignment for Miss Miskinis' class? um, so just encourage them to do that. Also, um, let me know anything that would help me know what would help your child to stay on task, to complete their assignments, what I can do to drive them to, work in my classroom. So just reach out to me and let me know any of that information. That would really help as well. And then also, anytime you have comments or concerns or any questions, just go ahead and shoot me an email. Um, if it's something about grades or an assignment that they brought home that, they don't understand, you don't understand, and, so I can help them, make sure that they do understand it, that they know how to solve it. So any of those questions, comments, or concerns, please send those to me through email. All right, so my email is listed here. So that's lmiskinis@acpsd.net. So that's the best way to keep in touch with me, is through email. So if your preferred method there is to talk over the phone, about any comments or concerns that you have about your child in my classroom, you just shoot me an email or leave a message with the school, and I will call you back as well. For any of that, whether you're emailing, calling, any of that, I will do my best to respond within 24 hours. So that's kind of the standard that we have at Schofield Middle School. You send us an email, you give us a phone call, we'll get back in touch with you within 24 hours. So I'll do my best there. All right. Thank you so much. So I hope you enjoyed my virtual classroom tour. All right, thank you.